Well, good evening, folks. Welcome back to the farm. I just finished pouring out the drippings off of a load of pulled pork. It'll be cooked in the slow cooker there today. So that's fantastic. I haven't been on the YouTube in a couple of days. I've been busy out west. The wind's been blowing. Everything's been on fire. You can hear the voices a little bit raspy, understandably so. The wind today is just, it's not doing this. Actually, it's doing this, which is actually a good thing. It's a good thing. Still very windy, still very dangerous, but it's actually, instead of coming into Alberta, it's blowing it away. It's blowing it back towards BC. So the poor folks in Kelly Lake kind of caught in the middle of that deal. But the weatherman has promised that we're going to get some rain, and that can't come soon enough. So what I'm going to do this evening, I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do this evening. I'm not going to go out there and show you what I'm doing this evening because the wind is going like that. The wife's little Volkswagen car, for like the third time this year, has a completely flat battery. And I don't know what's drawing a charge off of that. That's, I think it's the radio. I think she's leaving the key in, and the radio, the 12 volt for the radio is drawing on it. So anyways, I'm going to, I got another battery. That one's like done, dead. So I'm not even going to bother putting that one back in. I'll just take it back and exchange it. But I got another one on the camper there. I'll pull that one off, put it into the car. So that'll be taken care of. And then the father-in-law came over this evening while I was at gymnastics with the girls. So he was starting to prep the water line that runs from the shop all the way down the hill to the cattle pasture. Because the cows are here now. I would have loved to film that too, but that was another one. I was sleeping when the cows arrived. I was on night shift out in Kiskatna there. But he went to rig up the water line, stepped on the garden hose, and ripped the plastic fitting right off the end of the hose, or right off the end of the water pipe. So I'm hoping it's the quick coupler, because I got a couple of quick couplers floating around, and that it's not the actual plastic barb fitting, because I don't have one of those, and I'd have to go to the hardware store to get one. I was going to say, I don't know what the neighbors are cooking for supper, but I think it's burnt. But that might actually be my pulled pork. It does smell. It smells like burnt onions out here. I think that's what it is I cut up a whole onion, some garlic, a lime, a hot chili that we dehydrated last fall, and threw that all in the slow cooker. Pretty doggone tasty. Okay, yeah, so looking at this best case scenario, kind of best case scenario, but also the worst case scenario. Plastic quick coupling broke off inside that 3/4 inch fitting. I actually don't own any easy outs, so I'm going to see if I can figure out how to get that with a pair of pliers. Give me a pocket knife. Would a pocket knife do it? Oh, look at that. Yes, as luck would have it, sitting right here on top of the fridge, I got a couple of these little plastic quick connect fittings. I got a bucket full of them actually underneath the counter there. So I got another quick connect. This one's actually got a valve, which is, I would say it's handy, but it's really not necessary, but it's got a valve. I'm gonna get some thread tape on this so it doesn't leak, and we'll get it chucked in there. All right, new fitting put on there. Boom, we're in business. I put that quick connect on there just for a swivel, really just to connect this hose here, because there's no swivel here, and there's no swivel here, and I don't feel like making 19 twists of a garden hose to get that thing threaded on. In business. So now I just got to run down the hill and check to make sure water's coming out of the float valve there. And I'm going to leave it run all night. I'll check it again in the morning. Probably take about 4 hours to fill that big stock tank down there. And the water pressure, actually, it was funny when I purchased that hose. The guy at, I think it was Emco or something like that, we ended up getting that water line from. He said 3/4 inch line will not, it'll have too much friction loss to travel that distance. And I think it's 1,400 feet is what that is. It's a long ways. Yeah, it was 1,400 feet. He said, yeah, that will, by the time your residential pressure at 50 PSI gets to the end of that line, it's just not going to have enough jam to even do anything. And I said, I've got a lot of hydrostatic pressure, And I don't know what the actual elevation drop is there, I could do the math. I got the calculation. I have the technology, but I'm 85 psi at the bottom of the hill, so not to worry. There's lots. All right, battery in the camper. Battery out of the camper is put into the car. Let's go see if it starts. Okay, come on, baby. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Check engine light isn't even on. I gotta admit, I'm impressed with the wife. The gas tank's not empty. It looks like the stock tank is filling there, but I gotta run down. There's one thing I'm 100% confident that the father-in-law didn't check, and that was the valve in the middle for the sheep waterer. And I'm pretty confident. He said it took a long time to get water here. I'm pretty confident the reason it took a long time to get water here is because that 3/4 inch valve is just wide open, and I'm probably pouring water into the field over there. I'm gonna get the gate open, go for a hike in there, and just double check. Oh, well, I stand corrected. The valve is closed. Whether he closed it or if it was already closed, I can't remember, but I just know last year I had tucked this up on top of the fence to allow that to drain properly. I'd walked the whole thing out because I didn't want any lines to split or valves to crack. But it is interesting to look on this side where all the water ran through here versus on the other side of the creek where no water touched. Now we're gonna get some water here in the next couple days, but I don't know if we can catch one of these dirty buggers, but look at them under there. Baby grasshoppers floating all through here. So I really do hope we get 2 inches of rain, because that burnt, like, that's not going to recover without rain. Like, without rain, I'm going to have to work this up and just start again, because nothing's going to, like, what could you ever hope to grow there? Nothing. But with them grasshoppers setting in like that, that's a death sentence to a pasture. So it's actually really sad. We're starting at a disadvantage here, having not got any April rain, no May rain. We're halfway through June, no rain yet. I see folks that were out in that wildfire impacted area where they were trying to save pasture, right? Because it was so dry and burnt off, like literally burnt off from the sun over the last 3 years, that when that wildfire hits it, it just crawls right across. Nothing to stop it, nothing to slow it down. And people were trying to put that stuff out, like trying to save horse pasture, cattle pasture. And I mean, there's nothing there to eat. There's nothing there to save. In fact, you're probably doing your pasture a favor, rejuvenating it a little bit by fire. You can't do that year over year over year, of course, but you know, what would that do for the soil? What would that do, you know, to remove pest impact? Kill off a bunch of baby grasshoppers, that's for sure. That grass will green up, for sure. It will green up. It'll be lush there next year, so it actually would be a good thing. So probably better to leave it burn. But where we're at, we're just trying to, I don't know, you're between a rock and a hard spot, because you want to let this stuff over here have a little bit of time with some rain so that it can kind of pick up. But you're also at the same time, while you're waiting to put cows into here or sheep into here or whatever you want to put into here, you're doing a disservice to the pasture they're currently in by keeping them there too long and eating it down too low. And you know, you're never really maximizing photosynthesis, right? So that's incredibly hard on pasture too. So then that speeds up your cycles for when you have to work everything under and till it and reseed it and do all that jazz again. Fingers crossed we're gonna get that rain. Anyways, that said, I think we are going to wait, not really to give this any more time to grow, but we are going to wait. Is we're going to let that rain fall, and then we're going to give it a day, maybe 2 days, for that to soak into what's currently here, and then we'll move the cows over, so that they don't come in and then it rain a whole bunch, and then them absolutely, you know, create hummocks and hillocks and just mud puddles everywhere. Just make a stomping big mess of your pasture. I'll move them in because this is the freshest one we have. This is the one that was worked up and reseeded and fertilized. This is the one that's got the molasses fertilizer in it. This one's gold right here, right? So we want this one to really succeed. And the last thing I want to do is absolutely ruin it. So I think Saturday next week, maybe Sunday, we'll see how the weather holds up. We'll get them cows flipped over here, and they could chew on this for a couple days. All right, well, enough shenanigans for one evening. I'm going to go inside and fetch myself up a cup of tea. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you're having a fantastic evening, and I hope you get some rain. We'll see you tomorrow.